Getting your final paycheck and being paid everything you are owed can be a tricky question. What do you do with your accrued vacation days? What if your former employer doesn't want to pay? Do you get paid during your 2-week notice? Workplace fairness can help answer many questions you may have. In this video, we'll look at 8 of the most common questions related to final pay. For a full list or details about your state, visit workplacefairness.org/finalpay. How long does my employer have to deliver my last paycheck after I quit or am terminated? Generally, the employer has a reasonable time to pay your last check, usually within 30 days. The most common requirement is that you be paid by the next payday when you would have been paid. Some states may require that the employer pay you within a shorter or more specific period of time, either immediately or within a few days of discharge. There can be different requirements depending on whether you were fired or quit voluntarily. Some states require terminated employees to be paid immediately, while those who resign must wait until the next payday. If I give my employer a 2-week notice the date of my termination, can my employer fire me before the end of those 2 weeks and not pay me? Yes. Most employees, unless under a contractual agreement, are employees at will and can be terminated at any time. Generally, companies will honor the 2-week notice and pay the employee for the last 2 weeks, even if the employer does not allow the employee to work during that time period. However, there is no federal law which requires the employer to pay employees or even allow them to work during that 2-week notice period. I have accrued vacation time, sick time, personal leave days that I will not use before leaving my company. Is the company required to pay me for that time? It depends on your employer and where you live. 24 states and the District of Columbia have laws regarding the payment of accrued vacation time. However, in those states, you are only given a legal right to challenge an employer over unpaid accrued vacation time in your final paycheck if the employer has promised payment of unpaid accrued vacation time in your final paycheck. In the rest of the states, there is no state law that requires your employer to pay you for accrued vacation leave, although your employer may do so voluntarily or may have to do so if required by a policy or contract. My employer refuses to give me my last paycheck. What can I do? As mentioned, your employer has a reasonable amount of time or a set time period governed by state law to give you your final paycheck. If that date or reasonable amount of time has passed, then you should contact a government agency and/or a lawyer in your area to help you determine how to proceed. If you are only owed the amount of your last paycheck, the amount may be too small for a lawyer to pursue a case against your employer on your behalf, but there are federal and state agencies that can help you, even if you do not have a lawyer. My spouse recently died. Is their employer required to pay their final paycheck? Yes. In this situation, the paycheck would be issued to either the employee's beneficiary or the executor of their estate. In some employment contracts, the beneficiary is listed for this reason. Who enforces the law? The Fair Labor Standards Act, the federal wage standards law, is enforced by the Wage Hour Division of the U.S. Department of Labor. Wage hours enforcement of FLSA is carried out by investigators stationed across the U.S. who conduct investigations and gather data on wages, hours, and other employment conditions or practices in order to determine whether an employee has complied with the law. What are the remedies available to me? There are several different methods under the FLSA for an employee to recover unpaid wages. Each method has different remedies. Wage hour may supervise payment of back wages. The Secretary of Labor may bring suit for back wages and an additional penalty called liquidated damages. An employee may file a private lawsuit for back pay and an equal amount as liquidated damages plus attorney's fees and court costs. The Secretary of Labor may obtain an injunction to restrain any person from violating FLSA, including the unlawful withholding of proper minimum wage and overtime pay. Your state wage payment law may have different methods for recovery of unpaid wages and different remedies to be awarded to those who succeed in proving a violation. For further information, please contact the agency in your state which handles wage and hour labor standards violations, listed on the Workplace Fairness website. How can I file a complaint? How long do I have to file? To file a complaint for unpaid wages under FLSA, you may either go to WHD, which may pursue a complaint on your behalf, or file your own lawsuit in court, which may require you to hire an attorney. Do not delay in contacting the WHD or your state agency to file a claim. There are strict time limits in which charges of unpaid wages must be filed. Your state wage payment law may have different deadlines for recovery of unpaid wages. For further information, visit workplacefairness.org/finalpay. We hope you found this video helpful. For more information on this topic and hundreds more, visit workplacefairness.org.